Once upon a time, in the rolling hills of northern England, there stood a peculiar mound that would go down in history as Torpenhow Hill. The name of this hill, as it turns out, was as convoluted as its own topography, and its origins were lost in the mist of time. Local legend has it that many centuries ago, the area surrounding Torpenhow Hill was home to a mix of people from different regions and cultures. These diverse communities had their own words for hill, and this linguistic tapestry became the source of the hill's perplexing name. The term tor was likely introduced by the Celtic and Old English settlers, who saw the hill as a rocky peak or a high point in the landscape. To them, it was a tor, a term often used to describe elevated terrain. Pen, on the other hand, was a word associated with the Welsh settlers, who saw the hill as a prominent rise in the land. To them, it was a pen, reflecting their Welsh language influence in the region. Meanwhile, the Old Norse-speaking Vikings, who had a significant presence in northern England, had their own word for a mound or hill, which they called how. It was a nod to their Viking heritage and their unique perspective on the landscape. As you can imagine, this linguistic mishmash created quite the head-scratcher. The locals couldn't decide which word to use, and so they decided to combine them all, and thus Torpenhow Hill was born. As time passed, the hill continued to perplex and amuse people. Travelers would visit, get lost in its labyrinthine paths, and eventually declare, "It's a tor on top of a pen on a how. It's Torpenhow Hill, all right." Local bards and storytellers saw an opportunity to turn this linguistic puzzle into a source of entertainment. They composed humorous ballads and tales about Torpenhow, weaving comical stories about travelers who ventured to the hill, only to get hilariously lost in its threefold identity. A prominent figure among them, a local knight known for his wit and humor, often regaled the crowd with humorous tales about the hill. He would jest and say, "In England's green and pleasant land, Torpenhow's where I make my stand. A tor, a pen, and how, you see, it's the hill that confuses even me." Over the centuries, the name Torpenhow Hill became a symbol of whimsy and an expression of the region's linguistic diversity. People came from near and far to visit, not only to enjoy the picturesque landscape, but also to bask in the laughter and riddles of the place. As time went on, the locals embraced the unique charm of Torpenhow Hill, and it became more than just a name. It became a symbol of the area's rich history and the humor that can arise from linguistic quirks. And so, the hill that should have been an ordinary mound of earth became a legendary source of laughter and wonder, proving that even in the most confusing of places, humor and history can flourish. To this day, Torpenhow Hill remains a testament to the enduring power of laughter and the quirks of language, where the past meets the playful, and where every visitor can't help but chuckle at its peculiar name.